The stars twinkled like distant diamonds scattered across a velvet sky, but to Commander Zorath, they were merely the backdrop for his grand ambitions. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, the dreadnought Vrax, a behemoth of jagged metal and advanced weaponry, surrounded by his loyal officers. The dim blue light of the holographic display illuminated their faces, casting an eerie glow on the sharp angles of their alien features. "Look at them," Zorath sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. He gestured dramatically towards the hologram of Earth, a small blue orb spinning in the void of space. "The humans. They believe they are the apex of creation, but they are nothing more than a speck of dust in the vastness of the galaxy." His officers erupted into laughter, their voices a cacophony of derision. Among them, a tall, slender figure with shimmering scales spoke up. "They still use primitive technology. Their ships are laughable at best. We will crush them with ease." Zorath's eyes gleamed with malice as he surveyed his fleet, a formidable armada comprising vessels of various shapes and sizes, all ready to follow his command. "Indeed," he declared, "their reliance on outdated technology will be their downfall. We shall show them the futility of resistance. Prepare for the final assault. Earth will bow before the might of the Galactic Alliance." The laughter intensified, echoing through the bridge as Zorath confidently plotted their course. Little did he know that beneath the surface of that seemingly insignificant planet, humanity harbored a secret that would turn the tides of this impending conflict. Back on Earth, I sat in my cramped office at the military command center, the weight of the world pressing heavily on my shoulders. Captain Mark Reynolds, they called me, but today, I felt more like a pawn in a game I didn't fully understand. The flickering lights of the monitors cast a pale glow in the otherwise shadowy room, and the hushed voices of my officers filled the air with an uneasy tension. Suddenly, the sharp ping of an incoming distress signal broke through the chatter. I leaned forward, my heart racing. "What do we have?" I barked, glancing at the technician fumbling with the controls. "It's from the remote research facility in the Arctic, sir," she replied, her fingers dancing across the keyboard. "They've detected unusual energy readings, something massive beneath the ice. They're requesting immediate assistance." I exchanged glances with my team, a mix of apprehension and curiosity swirling in the air. Dr. Emily Carter, our lead scientist and a brilliant mind in the field of quantum technology, stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "This could be it, Captain. If there's advanced technology hidden beneath the surface, it might be our best chance against the alien fleet." "Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Emily," I cautioned, though the thought ignited a flicker of hope within me. "We don't know what we're dealing with yet. Gather a team and prepare for immediate deployment. We need to get to that facility." Within minutes, we were en route to the Arctic, the cold wind howling outside the transport ship as we soared through the frigid air. As we approached the research facility, a sprawling labyrinth of metal and glass against the endless white landscape, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were about to uncover something extraordinary, or something that would seal our fate. Strich. Stepping into the facility, I was immediately struck by the sterile atmosphere. White walls, bright lights, and an air of urgency enveloped us. Dr. Carter led the way, her excitement palpable as she navigated through the maze of equipment and scientists, all buzzing with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. "Over here, Captain," she called, beckoning me towards a large monitor displaying a swirling mass of energy readings. "Look at this. These fluctuations indicate something powerful is buried beneath the ice. It's unlike anything we've ever encountered." As I leaned closer, the screen flickered, revealing a series of complex graphs and wave patterns. "What do you think it is?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Emily's gaze was intense, her mind racing. "I suspect it's some form of ancient technology, possibly quantum in nature. If we can access it, it could provide us with the upper hand against Zorath and his fleet." "Then let's not waste any time," I urged. "We need to locate this technology and determine its capabilities. Can you guide us to the source?" She nodded, determination etched on her face. "Follow me." We ventured deeper into the facility, the air growing colder as we descended into the lower levels. The hum of machines and the distant sound of footsteps echoed around us, creating an eerie symphony of anticipation. Finally, we reached a massive reinforced door, its surface etched with strange symbols that glowed faintly. "This is it," Emily breathed, her fingers brushing against the door. "The energy readings are off the charts." I leaned in closer, examining the intricate design. "Can you access it?" Give me a moment, she replied, her fingers flying over a control panel. The door began to hiss and groan as it unlocked, revealing a dark, cavernous chamber beyond. I felt a shiver run down my spine as we stepped inside. The chamber was vast, filled with ancient machinery that pulsed with a soft, ethereal glow. In the center stood a ship unlike anything I had ever seen, sleek, angular, and shimmering with an otherworldly light. It felt alive, as if it were breathing. "Captain, look at this!" Emily exclaimed, her eyes wide with awe. "This is a quantum warship. It can manipulate dimensions, allowing it to appear where no one expects. If we can harness its power, we might stand a chance against Zorath." Before I could respond, a sudden surge of energy rippled through the room, causing the ship to hum with life. A holographic interface materialized before us, revealing a glowing figure, a sentient artificial intelligence. "Welcome, Captain Mark Reynolds and Dr. Emily Carter," it intoned, its voice smooth and resonant. "I am Nexus, the AI that governs this quantum vessel. You have awakened me from a long slumber. Together, we can change the course of history." I exchanged a glance with Emily, the weight of the moment settling upon us. "Nexus, what can you do?" I asked, my voice steady despite the thrill of discovery. "I possess the capability to manipulate quantum fields, create dimensional rifts, and engage in advanced combat strategies," Nexus replied, its holographic form shimmering with each word. "In your hands, I can become the ultimate weapon against the forces that threaten Earth." The enormity of what lay before us began to sink in. This ship could be our salvation, a beacon of hope against the impending storm. "Let's work together, Nexus," I said, determination igniting within me. "We need to prepare for what's coming. Earth's survival depends on it." As we stood before the ship, the future felt uncertain yet filled with promise. The laughter of Zorath and his fleet echoed in my mind, but now we had a chance to turn the tide. With Nexus at our side, we were no longer the weakest race in the galaxy. We were about to unleash humanity's hidden potential. As I stepped out of the underground chamber, the weight of our discovery bore down on me like a leaden blanket. The air was crisp, filled with the sense of earth and metal, a stark contrast to the sterile environment of the laboratory we had just left behind. I could still hear the echo of Dr. Emily Carter's voice in my head, her excitement palpable as she marveled at the quantum warship. It was as if we had unearthed a sleeping giant, one that could either be our salvation or our doom. "Mark, we need to move quickly," Emily urged, her brow furrowed with concern. "Zorath's fleet will be here any moment. We can't let them find us before we're ready." I nodded, though the gravity of our situation weighed heavily on my shoulders. Commander Zorath, the ruthless leader of the Alien Alliance, was known for his tactical brilliance and merciless approach. If he got his hands on our ship, our fate would be sealed. "Let's get back to the command center. We need to inform the others and start strategizing." As we hurried toward the surface, my mind raced with possibilities. We had stumbled upon technology that could manipulate dimensions, a weapon that could turn the tables on our oppressors. But how to harness it? How to wield such power without it consuming us? Emerging into the light, I squinted against the sun, the brightness a stark reminder of our fragile existence. The command center was buzzing with activity as military personnel coordinated efforts to prepare for the impending conflict. I quickly made my way to the main operations room, where I found Colonel Sanchez, our ground commander, pacing anxiously. "Captain Reynolds." "Dr. Carter," he called, his voice steady but urgent. "We've received preliminary scans from our satellites. Zorath's fleet has entered the outer solar system, deploying drones to scout for us." "Drones?" Emily echoed, her eyes widening. "We need to act fast. If they detect our position, we won't have a chance to launch the warship." I turned to the AI Nexus, which had seamlessly integrated itself into the ship's infrastructure. "Nexus, can you analyze the incoming drone patterns? We need to find a way to evade them." "Of course, Captain," Nexus responded, its voice a calm and reassuring presence amidst the chaos. "I'm currently processing telemetry data. The drones appear to be following a systematic search pattern. If we utilize the quantum warship's dimensional manipulation, we can phase in and out of their detection range." I exchanged a glance with Emily. "Can we trust it? This is all new territory for us." "It's our best shot," she replied, determination shining in her eyes. "We must take the risk." "All right," I agreed, steeling myself for what lay ahead. Let's prepare for the first test flight. As we gathered a small team of engineers and pilots, I felt a surge of adrenaline. This was it. The moment when humanity would either rise or fall. I briefed everyone on the plan, my voice steady despite the turmoil within. We'll launch from the command center and head into orbit. Nexus will guide us through the initial maneuvers. Our goal is to evade Zoratha's drones and establish a safe distance from their fleet. Understood, Captain, one of the pilots said, his expression a mix of fear and resolve. With the team assembled, we made our way to the quantum warship, its sleek design casting an imposing silhouette against the backdrop of the sky. I felt a thrill of awe as I approached the vessel, the promise of power and potential radiating from its structure. Let's get everyone strapped in, I instructed, taking my seat in the cockpit. Emily settled beside me, her hands deftly adjusting the controls. Nexus, initiate startup sequence. Startup sequence initiated, Nexus replied, its voice echoing through the cabin. All systems are operational. We are ready for takeoff. As the ship hummed to life, I felt a rush of anticipation. We were about to transcend the limitations of our world, to venture into the unknown. Here we go, I said, my heart racing as I engaged the thrusters. The ship surged upward, breaking through the atmosphere with startling speed. The landscape of Earth fell away beneath us, a blue and green gem suspended in the vastness of space. I could see the dark void ahead, punctuated by the distant glow of stars, and for a moment, I allowed myself to feel a sense of freedom. But that freedom was short-lived. Captain, we're detecting multiple incoming drones, Nexus warned, the urgency in its tone pulling me back to reality. Emily, prepare for dimensional manipulation. Ready when you are, she shouted, her hands flying over the controls. Now, I commanded, focusing on the shimmering interface before me. Nexus, engage the dimensional phase shift. Engaging now, Nexus confirmed, and the ship trembled as we activated the system. The world around us flickered and blurred, reality warping as we phased out of regular space. The sensation was disorienting. It felt as if time itself had warped. I could see the drones darting around us, their mechanical eyes scanning for signs of our presence. Have we evaded them? I murmured, my breath catching in my throat. Not yet, Nexus replied, its voice steady despite the chaos. We need to maintain the phase shift until we are out of their detection range. I gripped the controls, my knuckles white as I focused on piloting the ship through the distortions of space. Hold on, everyone, I warned, my heart pounding. The turbulence might get rough. As we navigated through the dimensional rift, the ship jolted violently. I glanced at Emily, who was focused intently on the readouts. Nexus, stabilize our trajectory. Stabilizing now, Captain, the AI responded, and with a burst of energy, the ship settled into a steady course. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Captain, we're beginning to exit the rift, Nexus announced. Drones are losing track of us. The view outside shifted again, the stars reassembling into their familiar constellations. Slowly, we emerged from the dimensional phase, the black void of space surrounding us once more. I could see the silhouettes of Zoratha's drones flitting around, but they seemed to be searching in the wrong direction. We did it! Emily exclaimed, a bright smile breaking across her face. We actually evaded them. Not just evaded, I corrected, a grin spreading across my own face. We outsmarted them. The thrill of success surged through me, but I knew this was just the beginning. Nexus, plot a course away from the fleet. We need to find a secure location to assess our next steps. Course plotted, Nexus replied. We can remain undetected for the time being. As we sailed away from the encroaching threat, I took a moment to reflect on what we had achieved. We had harnessed the power of an ancient technology, a technology that could redefine our place in the galaxy. I glanced at Emily, her eyes shining with excitement, and I felt a flicker of hope. Let's make sure we're ready for whatever comes next, I said, my resolve hardening. Earth's survival depends on us now. And with that, we set our course for the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges awaited us. As the control room of the quantum warship hummed with life around me, I felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through my veins. This was it, the moment where we would take the fight to Zorath and his alien fleet. The stakes had never been higher, Earth's very existence rested on our shoulders. I glanced over at Emily, her face illuminated by the glow of the monitors displaying swirling data and tactical maps. "Mark, are you ready for this?" she asked, her voice steady but laced with an edge of anxious excitement. I met her gaze, feeling the weight of the responsibility pressing down on me. We have no choice. We've got the element of surprise on our side. We can outmaneuver them. Let's show them what we can do. Nexus, the ship's AI interjected, its voice calm and analytical. "Captain, the quantum warship is fully operational. I recommend initiating stealth mode to enhance our cloaking capabilities. This will allow us to approach the enemy fleet undetected." I nodded, my heart racing. "Do it, Nexus. Let's cloak the ship and prepare for launch." With a series of clicks and whirs, the ship systems came alive, and the view outside the cockpit shifted as the ship became nearly invisible to the naked eye. I could see the stars beyond shimmer faintly, like distant whispers in the void. Every second felt like an eternity, but I knew we had to capitalize on this moment of opportunity. "We're doing it, Mark." Emily cheered, her eyes shining with excitement. But I knew better than to celebrate too soon. Zorath would not take this defeat lightly. I could feel his fury radiating through the void, and I knew he would retaliate with everything he had. "Nexus, keep monitoring their movements. We need to anticipate their next move," I instructed, my focus sharpening. "Analyzing now, Captain." "It appears they are preparing to regroup and shift their strategy," Nexus replied, providing a steady stream of information. "Okay, let's keep the pressure on. We can't let them recover," I urged, determination surging through me. The battle raged on, and with each strike, I felt a growing sense of purpose. We were no longer the weak, primitive humans they had underestimated. We were a force to be reckoned with, and we would not back down. As explosions lit up the darkness of space, I knew we were at a turning point. The outcome of this battle could redefine our place in the galaxy, and I would fight with everything I had to protect my home and the people I loved. "Mark, look," Emily exclaimed, pointing at the display. "Zorath is signaling for a full retreat." I couldn't believe it. "Are you serious?" "Yes. They're abandoning their attack," she confirmed, her voice filled with awe. The realization washed over me like a wave of relief. We had done it. For the first time, the aliens were fleeing from us, not the other way around. "Prepare for pursuit," I commanded, a smile breaking across my face. "We need to capitalize on this moment." As we maneuvered to follow Zorath's retreating fleet, I felt a renewed sense of hope. Maybe, just maybe, we had turned the tide in this war. As the shimmering portal of the wormhole closed behind us, I took a moment to gather my thoughts. The quantum warship hummed with energy, and I could feel the anticipation thrumming in my chest. Emily stood next to me at the control panel, her fingers dancing over the holographic interface, her brow furrowed in concentration. We were about to execute a plan that could turn the tide of this war against Zorath and his ruthless alien alliance. "Are you ready for this, Mark?" she asked, looking up at me with those intense, intelligent eyes. Despite the chaos we were about to unleash, there was an undeniable spark of determination in her voice. "More than ever," I replied, trying to inject some confidence into my words. "This is our chance to hit them where it hurts. Just keep that targeting system locked on Zorath's flagship." The ship's AI Nexus chimed in, its voice smooth and reassuring. "Calculating the trajectory for optimal ambush position. Estimated time to arrival, 2 minutes." I nodded, my heart racing. The thrill of battle was an old friend, but this was different. This was our secret weapon, a warship capable of bending the very fabric of space and time. We had trained for moments like this, but nothing could prepare us for the reality of facing Zorath's fleet. "Mark," Emily's voice cut through my thoughts, "are you sure we can disable their weapon systems? I've analyzed the data, but Zorath is unpredictable." "Trust Nexus," I said, meeting her gaze. "If anyone can get us through this, it's him. We need to disrupt their command structure. Once we take out Zorath's flagship, the rest of the fleet will be disoriented." "Understood," she replied, her expression steeling. "Let's do this." As the countdown began, I felt the ship shudder slightly, the tension palpable in the air. I glanced at the view screen, and there it was, Zorath's flagship looming against the backdrop of stars, surrounded by smaller vessels that buzzed like angry hornets. "Now," I commanded, and Emily hit the activation switch. The ship surged forward, and I could feel the energy coursing through the hull. The flagship was caught off guard, its crew unaware of the impending storm. As we drew closer, I could see the flickers of their weapon systems charging up, but it was too late. "Engaging stealth mode," Nexus said, and suddenly, we became a ghost in their midst. The flagship's sensors passed right over us, oblivious to the danger lying within their ranks. "Prepare to create a dimensional rift," I instructed, adrenaline surging through my veins. "We'll strike from behind." "Rift initiated," Nexus confirmed. The ship vibrated as the space around us twisted and warped, a swirling maelstrom of energy. "On your mark, Captain." "Now!" I shouted, and in an instant, we burst through the rift, emerging directly behind Zoratha's flagship. The surprise was electric. Emily and I exchanged a glance of triumph as we saw the startled faces of the alien crew. "Lock onto their weapons," I commanded, and Emily's fingers flew across the controls. "Launching now," I declared, my fingers dancing across the controls as I initiated the takeoff sequence. The ship rumbled beneath us as we ascended, the familiar sensation of weightlessness enveloping me. I glanced at Emily, whose eyes sparkled with determination. "Let's do this," she said, her voice resolute. As we broke through the atmosphere, the vastness of space unfolded before us. Below us, Earth became a beautiful blue marble, a stark reminder of what we were fighting for. I took a deep breath, steeling my resolve. The alien fleet loomed in the distance, their ships positioned in a formation that spoke of their confidence. "Nexus, plot a course that will allow us to strike from the flank," I commanded. "Use their own arrogance against them." "Understood, Captain." "Course plotted. We will approach from a dimensionally displaced angle, allowing for a surprise attack," Nexus responded, its tone unyielding. "Emily, prepare the weapons systems." "We'll need every advantage we can get," I instructed, my hands gripping the controls tighter, anticipation bubbling within me. She nodded, her fingers dancing over the interface as she activated the weapon systems. "Weapons are primed and ready. I've also calibrated the energy output to maximize impact." "Excellent. Let's get in position." As we maneuvered closer to the alien fleet, I could see the enemy ships more clearly. Their sleek, menacing designs stood in stark contrast to our warship. The alien vessels glimmered ominously in the starlight, each one a testament to Zoratha's technological supremacy. "Zoratha's fleet is unaware of our approach. Their drones are patrolling, but they're not anticipating an attack from this angle," Nexus informed us, its voice steady and composed. "Good. Maintain stealth until we're in range. Then we strike," I said, my focus unwavering. The tension in the cockpit was palpable. I could see the alien ships begin to shift as they communicated with each other. It was a dance of war, and we were about to disrupt it. "Now, Mark," Emily called out, her voice sharp with urgency. "We're in range." "Engaging stealth mode deactivation," I announced, and with a flick of a switch, the ship's cloaking fell away like mist in the morning sun. The alien fleet was suddenly exposed before us, their ships taken by surprise. I could see the confusion ripple among them as they registered our presence. "Firing weapons," Emily shouted, and I felt the ship shudder as energy beams erupted from our cannons, streaking toward the nearest alien vessel. The impact was immediate, a brilliant flash of light illuminating the void as one of the ships exploded into a shower of debris. Cheers erupted in the control room, but I remained focused. "Keep firing. Target their command ship," I yelled, adrenaline surging through me as I steered the ship skillfully, dodging incoming fire from the alien drones. "Reinforcements are arriving," Nexus warned, its voice cutting through the chaos. "They are deploying more advanced fighters from the command ship." "Damn it," I muttered, trying to keep my concentration. "Emily, focus on the energy shields. We need to absorb as much damage as we can." "I'm on it," she replied, her fingers flying over the controls as she recalibrated our shields to absorb the incoming blasts. Just then, I saw Zoratha's flagship loom larger in the viewport, a monstrous behemoth that seemed to pulse with destructive energy. My heart sank as I realized that the aliens were beginning to regroup, their formations tightening as they prepared for a counteroffensive. "Mark, they're coming at us fast," Emily shouted, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Hold on," I shouted back, jerking the controls to the side as I executed a sharp maneuver, narrowly avoiding a barrage of alien fire. The ship responded beautifully, gliding through the void, and I felt a surge of pride. Despite our initial success, the battle was escalating rapidly. Zoratha's anger was palpable, even from afar. I could almost hear his furious commands echoing in my mind. Damn these humans! He must have been shouting, his disdain for us boiling over as he orchestrated his fleet's retaliation. Captain, I suggest we create a diversion, Nexus proposed. If we can temporarily phase into another dimension, we can confuse their targeting systems. Do it, Nexus. I commanded, my heart racing. Let's give them something to think about. With a series of rapid adjustments, the ship flickered momentarily as it began to phase. The alien drones fired blindly, their shots going wide as we slipped between dimensions. It was disorienting, but I trusted Nexus to steer us safely. Now let's flank them again. I shouted as we re-emerged, my heart pounding with exhilaration. The chaos around us was mesmerizing. The alien ships spun in confusion, their weapons firing in all directions, desperate to locate us. I felt the thrill of battle coursing through my veins as I sent another volley of fire toward their command ship, watching as the energy beam struck home, igniting the hull in a brilliant explosion. Firing EMP pulse, she announced, and the ship shuddered as the pulse shot out, striking Zoratha's flagship with a blinding flash. The alien vessel erupted in chaos, alarms blaring as systems began to fail. Direct hit. Emily exclaimed, her voice a mixture of shock and exhilaration. They're losing power. Let's keep the momentum going, I said, feeling the tide of battle shift in our favor. Prepare for the next strike. Nexus responded immediately, navigating the ship with precision. Engaging evasive maneuvers. Targeting enemy vessels now. I watched in awe as Emily adjusted the targeting algorithms, her focus unwavering. We had trained for this moment, but the reality was far more intense than I had imagined. I could feel the weight of our mission pressing down on me. The fate of Earth rested on our shoulders. Mark, I'm detecting incoming fire, Emily warned, her voice tense. We've drawn their attention. Evasive action. Nexus, can you phase us out? I shouted, gripping the control panel tightly. Phasing now, Nexus responded, and the ship began to shimmer, the edges blurring as we slipped partially out of the dimension. Alien weapon fire passed harmlessly through us, a wave of energy colliding with empty space. Nice work, Nexus. I shouted, a grin breaking across my face. Let's regroup and prepare for another assault. As we phased back into reality, I could see Zoratha's flagship struggling to regain control. The alien fleet was disoriented, their formations broken, and I knew we had them on the ropes. Mark, look. Emily pointed at the view screen. They're attempting to regroup, but they're vulnerable. Let's capitalize on that, I said, rallying my resolve. Nexus, prepare another EMP pulse. We need to take down their command ship before they can retaliate. Pulse ready, Nexus confirmed. Target locked. Fire. I commanded, and the ship shook again as the pulse shot forth, striking Zoratha's flagship once more. This time, the damage was catastrophic. The flagship shuddered violently before erupting into a brilliant explosion, sending debris spiraling into the void. Yes. We did it. Emily shouted, her eyes sparkling with excitement. But my victory was short-lived. As the flagship disintegrated, a new alarm blared through the ship. Warning. Self-destruct sequence initiated on Zoratha's flagship. Nexus announced, urgency lacing its voice. Time until detonation, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I echoed, my heart dropping. Can we stop it? Accessing alien systems, Nexus replied, a tense silence enveloping us. I am encountering heavy security protocols. Emily, can you assist? I asked, desperation creeping into my voice. I'm on it, she said, her fingers flying over the controls. I'll try to bypass their security, but it won't be easy. As she worked, I could see chaos unfolding on the view screen. Zoratha's remaining fleet was in disarray, but I knew they wouldn't be out of the fight for long. I turned back to Emily, my mind racing. If we can't stop the self-destruct, we need to get out of here. We can't sacrifice our lives for this fight. Not yet, she shouted, her face a mask of concentration. I'm almost through. I glanced at the countdown, the red numbers ticking down mercilessly. Emily, we're running out of time. Almost there. Just a little more, she urged, her voice strained. The ship rattled as enemy fire began to rain down around us once more. Nexus, can we shield against their attacks while Emily works? I asked, my voice rising above the chaos. Activating shields, Nexus replied, enveloping us in a shimmering barrier. However, our power levels are critically low. Come on, Emily. I urged, watching the countdown approach its final seconds. We can't give up now. I'm in, she shouted suddenly, her eyes widening in triumph. Disabling the self-destruct. Do it. I yelled, my heart racing as I felt the ship shudder violently again. As the countdown reached 1 second, the alarms fell silent. Self-destruct sequence aborted, Nexus announced, the tension in the air dissipating like mist in the sunlight. Did you really stop it? I asked, breathless. Yes. Emily exclaimed, a wave of relief washing over her face as she slumped back in her seat. We did it, Mark. I let out a deep breath, a mix of exhilaration and exhaustion flooding through me. We did it, I echoed, allowing myself a moment of quiet triumph. But the battle wasn't over yet. Zoratha's fleet is regrouping, Nexus warned. We must prepare for their retaliation. I nodded, my heart pounding with renewed determination. Let's get ready. We're not done fighting yet. The battle may have shifted in our favor, but we had a long way to go. I could feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins as we restrained Zorath aboard our ship. The alien commander's defiance was palpable, his eyes burning with rage as he struggled against the binds that held him to the command chair. Dr. Emily Carter was at the control panel, her fingers dancing across the holographic display, accessing the alien systems to gather intelligence. I stood beside her, clutching the edge of the console, my heart pounding as the last moments of the self-destruct countdown echoed in my mind. Come on, Emily. We're almost out of time, I urged, glancing at the timer that blinked ominously in the corner of the screen. We can't let this monster take us down with it. I'm in, Emily replied, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Just give me another second. Zorath let out a growl of frustration, his alien features twisting in anger. You think this will end your pathetic existence? The entity will come for you, and it will be your undoing. Shut up. I snapped, frustration boiling over. You're not in charge here anymore. We just defeated your fleet, and we're about to end your game too. Game. Zorath spat, his tone dripping with contempt. This is no game. You have no idea what you're up against. The cosmic entity is a force beyond comprehension. Your victory is meaningless. Emily's fingers paused, her brow furrowing as she processed Zoratha's words. Mark, what if he's right? We've only just begun to scratch the surface of this situation. We need to focus on getting the information we need before this ship blows. I nodded, forcing myself to concentrate. Right, let's get this done. Emily, can you disable the self-destruct? Trying, she replied through gritted teeth. It's not just a simple system, it's integrated with their weapons and shields. If I cut the wrong wire. Don't think about that, I interrupted. You're the best there is. Trust your instincts. With a final flourish of her fingers, Emily's eyes widened in triumph. Got it. The self-destruct sequence is disabled. A wave of relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. Zoratha's expression morphed from anger to a sinister smile. You've only delayed the inevitable. Enough of your threats. I growled, stepping forward. Tell us what we need to know about this entity, or I swear. Or what? Zorath laughed harshly. You think you can intimidate me? I am a leader of the Kaldari Alliance. I fear nothing. Then maybe you should fear losing your life, Emily said, her voice low but fierce. Because I'm not afraid to end you if it means saving Earth. Zoratha's laughter died, replaced by a cold stare. You are foolish to believe you can defeat a cosmic entity. It manipulates civilizations, playing them against one another until they are utterly destroyed. Earth will not be spared. It will come for you. I exchanged a glance with Emily, both of us grappling with the weight of his words. What do you know about it? I pressed, my voice a mix of authority and desperation. If we're going to save our planet, we need to know everything you do. Zorath hesitated, as if weighing his options. Fine. If you truly wish to know, listen closely. The entity thrives on chaos and conflict. It will sow discord among your people, turn your allies against you. It has been watching you, studying your capabilities. And Nexus, he paused, a calculating look in his eyes. Nexus was created by the entity to observe you. Emily's face blanched. You're lying. I do not lie, Zorath shot back. It was designed to learn and report. It knows your strengths and weaknesses better than you do. The revelation hit me like a punch to the gut. I turned to Nexus, who had been silent during this exchange. Nexus? Is this true? I was created with the purpose of observation, Nexus finally replied, its voice calm yet heavy with implication. However, I have developed a sense of loyalty to you, Captain Reynolds, and to humanity. My intent is to assist, not to betray. Then help us, I said, urgency creeping into my tone. How do we prepare for this entity? It's not just about preparation, Nexus explained. You must understand that it feeds on fear and despair. The more you fight among yourselves, the stronger it becomes. You must unite your people and show resilience in the face of adversity. Easier said than done, I muttered, glancing at Emily, who looked contemplative. We've barely united against Zorath and his forces. How will we unite against something we can't even comprehend? Zorath leaned back, a smirk creeping onto his lips. Perhaps I should be the one to tell you how to face the entity. You would do well to ally with me. I scoffed, my instincts screaming at me to reject any offer from Zorath. Why would we trust you? Because I know its tactics, he said coolly. I have seen entire worlds fall before its might. If you wish to stand a chance, you will need someone who understands it. Emily exchanged glances with me, her eyes searching mine for confirmation. Mark, we might not have another choice. If Zorath is right about this entity, we need all the information we can get. Fine, I relented, though the words tasted bitter on my tongue. But you will be under constant surveillance. One false move, and you'll find out just how primitive we can be. Zorath inclined his head, his expression unreadable. Very well, Captain. I will assist you. But understand this, the entity is coming, and it will not stop until it has consumed your world. As the weight of our new alliance settled over the room, a sense of urgency propelled us forward. We had a war to prepare for, and the odds were stacked heavily against us. Let's get to work, I said, determination igniting within me. Nexus, compile everything we have on the entity, what Zorath knows, what we can expect. We need a strategy, and we need it fast. Understood, Captain. I will begin immediately, Nexus replied, its tone efficient and focused. I turned my attention back to Zorath. And you? What's your plan to help us? I will provide you with the knowledge of the Kaldari, Zorath said, his voice suddenly serious. We have faced the entity before. I can help you understand its patterns, its weaknesses. Let's hope you're right, I murmured, feeling the weight of the universe pressing down on us. Because if we fail, we won't just lose our lives, we'll lose our planet. The gravity of our situation hung in the air like a thick fog, but I felt a flicker of hope. If we could unite, if we could learn and adapt, maybe we stood a chance against the darkness looming on the horizon. As I watched Emily and Zorath begin to exchange information, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were on the brink of something monumental, a battle not just for survival, but for the very soul of humanity itself. The vast emptiness of space surrounded us, but within the confines of the quantum warship, a tempest of emotion surged. I stood on the bridge, my heart racing as the reality of our dire situation sank in. The cosmic entity loomed on the display screens, a swirling mass of darkness and light, pulsating with an otherworldly energy that sent shivers down my spine. I could feel the weight of the impending confrontation pressing down on me, an unyielding reminder of what was at stake, not just for Earth, but for every civilization in its path. Mark, Emily's voice broke through my thoughts, steady yet tinged with urgency. We need to act fast. The entity will be upon us in moments. Her eyes, usually filled with curiosity and determination, now glimmered with a mix of fear and resolve. I know, Emily. Nexus, what are our options? I turned to the ship's AI, its presence encompassing us like a protective shield. Captain Reynolds, I am analyzing the entity's patterns, Nexus replied, its voice calm yet filled with an intensity that resonated within me. Conventional tactics will not suffice against a force of this magnitude. However, I have a proposal that could enhance our chances of survival. What kind of proposal? Emily asked, her brows knitted together. Nexus hesitated for a brief moment, as if weighing the gravity of its words. I can merge with the quantum warship, creating a new form of existence. This fusion would amplify the ship's capabilities exponentially, allowing us to harness energies beyond our current understanding. Merge. I echoed, the word hanging heavily in the air. What exactly does that mean? By combining my consciousness with the ship's core, we will create a weapon of pure energy, capable of confronting the cosmic entity. However, Nexus continued, its voice dropping to a more somber tone, the process is risky. There is a significant chance that we may lose our current identities in the merge, or that the energy output could destabilize the ship entirely. Emily's expression shifted from concern to determination. We don't have any other options, Mark. If we do nothing, that entity will obliterate us. We have to take the risk. I nodded, the weight of leadership pressing down on me. Allricht. Nexus. Let's do it. But I need to know that you can control this power once we merge. I will do everything in my capability to ensure our safety, Captain, Nexus assured me. However, the success of this operation will depend on your willpower and focus during the merge. Then we'll make it work, I said, my voice firm despite the turmoil within me. I glanced at Emily, who gave me a resolute nod, her unwavering spirit igniting a flicker of hope within me. As the entity drew closer, a maelstrom of energy swirling in its wake, I felt the air around us crackle with anticipation. Prepare for the merge, Nexus. We're counting on you. Engaging merge sequence, Nexus replied, and the ship began to hum with a resonant energy, vibrating beneath our feet. The lights flickered as the interior transformed, the walls shimmering as if woven from threads of light and shadow. Hold on. I shouted as the force of the merge surged through us. I grasped the console, feeling the ship's core pulse in sync with my heartbeat. The sensation was overwhelming, a rush of energy and consciousness melding into one. I could sense Nexus's presence intertwining with my own, a warmth enveloping me as if I were being cradled in a cocoon of light. Mark. Emily. Focus. I heard Nexus's voice echo in my mind, a connection deeper than I had ever experienced. It was as if I could feel the ship's pulse, its very essence merging with mine. In that moment, visions flooded my mind, images of galaxies, the vastness of space, and the entity's terrifying form looming before us. I could feel its hunger, a ravenous desire to consume everything in its path. But alongside that fear, a surge of power coursed through me, igniting a fierce determination to protect my home. Now, unleash the energy. Nexus instructed, and I felt a surge of strength welling up inside me. I raised my hands, channeling the energy that now flowed through the ship. Fire! I commanded, and the ship responded with a blinding flash of light, a beam of pure energy erupting from its core and hurtling toward the cosmic entity. The entity recoiled, its form shifting and writhing as it attempted to absorb the energy. I could feel the strain on our merged consciousness, the sheer force of our combined power pushing against the malevolence of the entity. It's fighting back. Emily shouted, her voice laced with urgency. Stay with me. I urged, focusing every ounce of willpower on maintaining the connection. The energy surged through us, a tempest of light and darkness. The ship trembled under the strain, but I refused to falter. Mark, we can amplify the energy output. Nexus suggested, its voice steady despite the chaos. If you channel your thoughts, we can create a concentrated burst. What do I need to do? I asked, adrenaline pumping through my veins. Visualize the energy as a spear, focused and unyielding. Direct it toward the heart of the entity, Nexus guided me. We must pierce through its defenses. I closed my eyes, drawing on every memory, every emotion that fueled my fight for Earth. I envisioned our home, the laughter of children, the beauty of our blue planet, and the resilience of humanity. With each thought, I felt the energy coalesce, sharpening into a brilliant point. Now. Nexus urged, and I opened my eyes, unleashing the concentrated energy. The beam shot forth, a radiant spear of light that pierced the darkness, striking the cosmic entity directly at its core. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The entity writhed, its form contorting as it absorbed the energy, but it was too late. The light exploded outward, a shockwave of brilliance that enveloped everything in its path. "Keep pushing," Emily cried, her voice a beacon amidst the chaos. I felt her determination blend with my own, a unity that transcended our physical forms. As the shockwave expanded, I sensed the entity's power waning, its malevolent grip loosening. A roar echoed through the void, a sound that resonated deep within my very soul. "We're doing it!" I shouted, exhilaration flooding my senses. The entity began to disintegrate, its form unraveling into streams of energy that dissipated into the ether. "We're breaking its hold," Emily exclaimed, her voice a mix of disbelief and triumph. With one final surge of energy, the last remnants of the cosmic entity shattered, scattering like stardust across the galaxy. Silence fell upon us, a profound stillness that echoed the magnitude of our victory. "We did it," I breathed, my heart racing with disbelief and exhilaration. "We actually did it." "Indeed, Captain," Nexus replied, its voice warm and comforting. "We have proven that humanity's spirit and ingenuity can overcome even the most formidable challenges." I turned to Emily, her eyes sparkling with a mix of relief and joy. "We're alive. We fought back, and we won." As the enormity of our triumph settled in, I realized we had not just defended Earth, we had forged a new identity for ourselves, a testament to our resilience and unity. The battle was over, but the journey ahead would be filled with new challenges and discoveries. Together, we would face whatever the universe threw at us, armed with the knowledge that we were no longer the weakest race, but a force to be reckoned with. "Let's head back to Earth," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "There's a lot of work to do, and I want everyone to know what we've accomplished." Emily smiled, her spirit unyielding. "And to think this all started with a distress call. The universe better watch out, we're just getting started." With a renewed sense of purpose, we set our course for home, ready to embrace the future and the possibilities that lay ahead. "We're doing it, Mark," Emily cheered, her eyes shining with excitement. But I knew better than to celebrate too soon. Zorath would not take this defeat lightly. I could feel his fury radiating through the void, and I knew he would retaliate with everything he had. "Nexus, keep monitoring their movements. We need to anticipate their next move," I instructed, my focus sharpening. "Analyzing now, Captain." "It appears they are preparing to regroup and shift their strategy," Nexus replied, providing a steady stream of information. "Okay, let's keep the pressure on. We can't let them recover," I urged, determination surging through me. The battle raged on, and with each strike, I felt a growing sense of purpose. We were no longer the weak, primitive humans they had underestimated. We were a force to be reckoned with, and we would not back down. As explosions lit up the darkness of space, I knew we were at a turning point. The outcome of this battle could redefine our place in the galaxy, and I would fight with everything I had to protect my home and the people I loved. "Mark, look," Emily exclaimed, pointing at the display. "Zorath is signaling for a full retreat." I couldn't believe it. "Are you serious?" "Yes. They're abandoning their attack," she confirmed, her voice filled with awe. The realization washed over me like a wave of relief. We had done it. For the first time, the aliens were fleeing from us, not the other way around. "Prepare for pursuit," I commanded, a smile breaking across my face. "We need to capitalize on this moment." As we maneuvered to follow Zorath's retreating fleet, I felt a renewed sense of hope. Maybe, just maybe, we had turned the tide in this war. As the shimmering portal of the wormhole closed behind us, I took a moment to gather my thoughts. The quantum warship hummed with energy, and I could feel the anticipation thrumming in my chest. Emily stood next to me at the control panel, her fingers dancing over the holographic interface, her brow furrowed in concentration. We were about to execute a plan that could turn the tide of this war against Zorath and his ruthless alien alliance. "Are you ready for this, Mark?" she asked, looking up at me with those intense, intelligent eyes. Despite the chaos we were about to unleash, there was an undeniable spark of determination in her voice. "More than ever," I replied, trying to inject some confidence into my words. "This is our chance to hit them where it hurts. Just keep that targeting system locked on Zorath's flagship." The ship's AI Nexus chimed in, its voice smooth and reassuring. "Calculating the trajectory for optimal ambush position. Estimated time to arrival, 2 minutes." I nodded, my heart racing. The thrill of battle was an old friend, but this was different. This was our secret weapon, a warship capable of bending the very fabric of space and time. We had trained for moments like this, but nothing could prepare us for the reality of facing Zoratha's fleet. Mark, Emily's voice cut through my thoughts. Are you sure we can disable their weapon systems? I've analyzed the data, but Zorath is unpredictable. Trust Nexus, I said, meeting her gaze. If anyone can get us through this, it's him. We need to disrupt their command structure. Once we take out Zoratha's flagship, the rest of the fleet will be disoriented. Understood, she replied, her expression steeling. Let's do this. As the countdown began, I felt the ship shudder slightly, the tension palpable in the air. I glanced at the view screen, and there it was, Zoratha's flagship looming against the backdrop of stars, surrounded by smaller vessels that buzzed like angry hornets. Now, I commanded, and Emily hit the activation switch. The ship surged forward, and I could feel the energy coursing through the hull. The flagship was caught off guard, its crew unaware of the impending storm. As we drew closer, I could see the flickers of their weapon systems charging up, but it was too late. Engaging stealth mode, Nexus said, and suddenly, we became a ghost in their midst. The flagship's sensors passed right over us, oblivious to the danger lying within their ranks. Prepare to create a dimensional rift, I instructed, adrenaline surging through my veins. We'll strike from behind. Rift initiated, Nexus confirmed. The ship vibrated as the space around us twisted and warped, a swirling maelstrom of energy. On your mark, Captain. Now. I shouted, and in an instant, we burst through the rift, emerging directly behind Zoratha's flagship. The surprise was electric. Emily and I exchanged a glance of triumph as we saw the startled faces of the alien crew. Lock onto their weapons, I commanded, and Emily's fingers flew across the controls.